question for you. How is the SaaS ecosystem in India, and how is it different from other countries like say the US?
So there was an article out by Motilal Oswal, and this was a very first, such a big financial company
Mm-hmm.
that has released a report around SaaS,
Yeah.
and they said that India will contribute anywhere from 5 to 6% of the global revenue by 2030
Mm-hmm.
in the SaaS industry, and that 5 to 6% is 50 to 60 billion dollars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not even talking about valuations. I'm just talking about real revenue. I'm talking about real dhanda,
Yeah.
right? So $1 trillion of revenue flow
Yeah.
will happen by 2030. That
Wow.
is how big the opportunity is. So forget about US market for an example for a moment.
Yeah.
If you just leverage India as a market over the course of next 8 or 9 years,
Uh-huh.
you have a potential of building, if not a unicorn, but at least 100 to 500 crore company.
Mm-hmm. But
That's the
there's so many, yeah, but there's so many companies out there. Like, I mean, how do you stand out of the crowd? Because there's a lot of noise, right? Going on.
beauty about SaaS is that you focus on one thing and you solve one problem, and a
Uh-huh.
company usually have hundreds of problems. Right. So, for example, right now when we are doing a call or a video call,
Yeah.
there are probably multiple softwares involved,
Yeah.
right? Multiple hardwares involved. There is not just one thing that is happening.
Yeah.
So there's so much those opportunities. Now, if someone cannot afford the software, it opens up doors and opportunity for someone else. And that's it. Because every stage you have different level of buyers, you have different level of users who are
Mm-hmm.
willing to pay up to certain amount, just like how it works in service. So there is no difference in a service industry and a software industry. That's
Okay.
why known as
Yeah.
SaaS. So
Yeah.
most often people forget that the S at the end of SaaS stands for service.
Yeah.
It stands for software. It starts with the software,
Yeah.
right? So in this case as well, that's what you're doing. So you need to now decide: are you going to cater to a small business? Are
Mm-hmm.
you going to cater to even smaller businesses, which is, let's say, a creator, a
Yeah.
freelancer? Are you
Yeah.
going to cater to medium sizes or enterprise now? So
Yeah.
again,
Okay.
there's
Mm-hmm.
doors and opportunity for everyone. So this report from Motilal Oswal gave so much confidence to every single SaaS founder, especially in India, that it started motivating more SaaS founders coming out from India. And you can see so many companies now raising capital. I think I just tweeted yesterday itself that a company, Indian SaaS company, that is doing around $1,200 in MRR, just $1,200, is
Uh-huh.
raising capital at $13.4 million.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So
13.4 million. Yeah.
yes, I had to literally refresh the page 10 times to see
Yeah.
whether I get it right,
Am I
right?
dreaming?
It's, I probably thought they missed out like three zeros
Yeah.
or something, right? In the MRR, but no, that wasn't the case. This is what is happening in India at the moment, and this is all happening behind the scenes because SaaS is one industry which is not hyped by media
Uh-huh.
because it's not a glamorous industry.
Yeah.
It's a service, right? The software itself is a boring industry, first of all, and then you have services on top of that, which is again a boring industry in general, right? So it's
Mhm.
not glamorized industry like a D2C industry where
Yeah.
you're talking so much because you're directly talking to consumers, right? And usually what happens is when you're talking to consumer and your consumer brand, you
Yeah.
are a lot more famous, but
Yeah.
you make less money because
Yeah.
the businesses really happen between businesses in the
Uh-huh.
so that's what is happening, and the opportunity and scope is massive based on what the data has been coming out.
Awesome, man. And so I have another question for you, which is related to your experience. Like you've launched multiple companies and you've exited multiple, right? So if you could tell us like what are some of your key learnings, and is there any company that you regret exiting?
No, no, absolutely. I do not regret exiting anything as of now.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think I made right exits at the right time. In fact, I wish if my last failure, I would have shut it down a year prior. I would have saved at least half of my money. But I had so much emotion involved into it that I was like, I think let me go, let me keep going.
Yeah.
Sometimes you as a founder need to know when to exit. It's
Yeah.
very important, and do not involve too much emotions into running a business. Be passionate about it.
Yeah.
you need to understand that when you're taking a decision,
Yeah.
take a decision from your brain and not from your heart, because your heart will always mislead you when it comes to taking business decisions.
Mhm.
Any given point. This again coming from my own personal experience.
Yeah.
So, during this entire journey, I think some of my key learnings would be first, know when to exit.
Okay.
Things are not working out, either exit or shut it down before it's too late.
Mhm.
Don't have a hope of things will just automatically work things out
Mhm.
unless and until you are a very experienced professional, and that downfall is happening because of something like COVID,
Yeah.
or something like recession.
Yeah.
If global impact is making that impact, then it's a temporary impact.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
you are in a bull run, the market is a bull run, and if your company is not growing at that stage,
Yeah.
something is wrong. So you need to know when you need to exit,
Hmm.
because sometimes you have a far bigger competitor who has far more money, who
Yeah.
can compete.
Yeah.
Either you pivot or you exit. Sometimes that's really smarter. Second, if you want to continue bootstrapping,
Mhm.
try to exit the first one or two company of yours so that you can build a much bigger dream. Every founder, when they move on, they end
Yeah.
up building something better, because not only they don't repeat the mistake that they have made,
Yeah.
but at the same time they end up having money, which also
Mhm.
means that they end up owning majority of the equity in their company. And
Mhm.
ultimately we choose entrepreneurship for freedom. A lot of founders often forget that when they try to raise capital, because by the time they probably go IPO, if they can, they end up with like 3 to 5% equity in their company,
Yeah.
which is smaller than ESOP pools today.
Uh-huh.
So understand why you're getting into entrepreneurship. That's just, I think, the second mistake often founders make. So they need
Mhm.
to realize why they got into that. Third is they forget enjoying.
Yeah.
They forget cherishing every little moments of their life.
Okay.
So whenever we make any sale, right, I write it down in my Slack channel and we are celebrating, for an
Oh,
example.
love it.
So
Yeah.
the small things, right? That makes again a huge difference. So cherish those every moment, because these memories is what you will probably come back 3 years down the road and take a screenshot and post about it. Right?
Exactly. It's also like, I mean, people chase the big wins, but you don't realize that it's these small things that when you turn back and you see that it's a huge thing, right? I mean, it leads to a big thing at the end of the day. So, I mean, like instead of chasing that, make a note of all the smaller things that you've been doing. You'll be happier.
Absolutely. And I think one of the last mistakes that I made, which I want everyone to avoid, is start hiring from the top and not from the bottom.
Okay.
What I mean by this is founders, especially early stage startups, they try to save every penny and they try to end up hiring interns. Now, the
Hmm.
problem is they end up spending 6 months of their life training an intern only to see that they have left the company,
Yeah.
because they are 19, they are 20. They're not going to stick around. It's not their company. They don't care.
Yeah.
But the founders end up putting a lot of emotions into, oh my God, I've given you 6 months of my life. Now you owe me for the next 2, 3 years. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So spend a little more money and start hiring from the top and not from the bottom. If you can find a co-founder, it'll make your life very easy. Plus, you also become a lot more trustable and accountable in the market. When you have
Hmm.
people involved in the company at that level, people
Hmm.
often trust you. Even the investors would often trust you at that stage. That's
Yeah.
the fourth thing. Fifth,
Yeah.
build, and this is the most important one,
Yeah.
don't build a company for investors. Build a company for your customers.
Okay. Love it. I love these points.